In 2005, Subcomandante Insurgente Marcos declared a red alert over some part of the Chiapas territory, the Zapatista territory, and he called to civil society to join the Zapatista army in a campaign, in a political and social campaign. And Possible Worlds was a project that I launched with the collective I'm part of. And this project, it's about creating web hosting services for people who and projects who need censorship free servers on the internet. And it's also like a kind of media archive of media projects, independent television, a net label. It's a community also. Well, we specialize in hosting websites like the one of the Zapatista army, which was somehow expelled from his previous server. So what we did is we took the responsibility of providing secure services, and for this we've been under attack by the Mexican telephone company, Telmex. Afterwards it was the National Secretary of Defense, that is the Mexican army. We've been able to circumvent these problems over the year. Thankfully, it hasn't been that severe. Sometimes it's been scary, but I think they're just warnings, especially after the Atenco situation, a small town where 3,000 policemen invaded, raping 45 women and taking more than 300 persons to the jail. And when this attack happened, also the server was attacked by the Secretary of Defense. So it's been scary for the last year. It's been a lot of work. And this is, Possible Worlds is like a small collective corporation, an open business trying to provide services for a newer economy, a new marginal economy of creative people and collectives. Mm-hmm. During border hacks since the year 2000, we always faced censorship, a 3-day censorship every year. That is, the 3 days of the Hacktivist Festival, we were always somehow taken down from the virtual server where we were hosted. So what we did back then was called, because this was like a very sophisticated kind of censorship, not rude at all, nothing mean. So what I did every time was call to the customer service of the provider and say like, hey, listen, we are paying a year of service, and these are the 3 most important days for us. And if you don't put us online immediately, we will have to change servers. But yes, in a sense, this was a very real censorship until the year 2005, where we were approached, where we were sent an email by the provider who told us there are people, customers complaining about your website. They don't want to be part of a website, of a server where your website is hosted. So we will kindly ask you to take your website to some other server. So in that moment, we knew the internet is going to a different way. 2005, network neutrality was being discussed. So we said we immediately bought a computer, installed some open source software, connected it to the internet, and started this project. If you are an armed group, you are not able to access the internet because one, to buy a domain name, you need to have a credit card. And if you have a credit card and buy a domain name associated with an armed group to make their official or unofficial website, then it means you are related to them, and they will easily know where do you live, what's your name, who are your relatives, who are your friends, how much do you earn, etc. So in a kind of way, this is a very sophisticated censorship. And we've been working on this line of investigation. We just presented a paper on the World Social Forum in Nairobi last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. This activity was called Another Internet is Possible. What we are proposing is a kind of alternative domain name system based on a namespace artistic project where, for example, indigenous nations would also be recognized as legitimate domain names. For example, think of .Inuit or .Purepecha or .Mayan, whatever, and also where dissidents could put their information online, because we believe it's very important for them to have an output of their information, because in this way there can be more mediation, more dialogue, more exposure to the media. And so it's difficult to speak about democracy when the average citizen doesn't have access to mass media as a producer. I am wearing this mask because it's a gesture of solidarity with the Zapatista people, especially after the San Andres agreements were unsigned, were broken by the Mexican government. The government has proven to be useless in Mexico. It has proven to be unreliable. And so for this, I wear the mask as a kind of protest against the Mexican government, as a way of not showing my face, as a way of saying I'm one of many thousands of persons in the country which are ashamed and also don't feel identified with the government. I am not searched by police. I mean, police know where I live. And if they wanted to do something to me, it would be like completely easy for them, but it would also make it harder for them. I think Possible Worlds is somehow disturbing this system using their own weapons. So basically, if marketing appropriated the guerrilla tactics, now it's time for the guerrilla to appropriate the marketing and the business strategies. So in these ways, I decided to make Possible Worlds an open business and use it as a means of counterattacking.